So, hello and welcome everybody. We have the Global Lab patch notes for Friday, November 7th. So we get straight into it. We have some class modifications and changes. So some of the skill effects of other adventurers will be visible regardless of effect optimization options being enabled in the game settings. So we have the list for Warrior, one of the skills, for the Berserker, Valkyrie, Wizard, Ninja, Striker, Lawn, Guardian, Hashashin, Nova, Sage, and Scholar. They will have a few skills being always visible. I'm guessing most of these look like the grabs, but we're going to have to see once this comes to regular servers. Also, this is a big one. I actually had a guide for this to cut your fishing time. However, when using a fishing chair to auto-fish, the action time for the next action has been improved to be the same as when not using a fishing chair. So it used to be that if you started your fishing process and then equipped the chair, you would be effectively fishing at less time. This is now being unified, so it will become an obsolete update, so you can always just keep your chair equipped and fish, and the timing should be the same after this update goes through. Then we have a big change for Edana's Throne, Throne of Edana. So with this update, the way you use the Edana's Rising tokens for Throne of Edana is more convenient, and previously anyone could use the token without limits, which sometimes prevented genuine challengers from joining the battle. To address this, a penalty now applies if you do not participate, and those who do not wish to vie for the throne can sell their tokens at NPC shops. Furthermore, to encourage advancement to higher tier castles, Edana is no longer automatically registered for the defense. By using the Edana's Rising token, you can now choose to defend your castle or challenge another. This is actually the biggest change. They've also improved the convenience by adding the Throne of Edana menu under the escape menu, so you no longer need to travel to an Edanian castle to refresh the gear score requirement. So adventurers who are on the throne already, or are pretty much an Edana of a castle, can now challenge the thrones of other castles. Using a challenge token from another castle, you can be selected as a participant according to the 10-player challenge selection rules and become Edana if you win both the 10-player challenge and the Edana's duel. However, if you use a challenge token from another castle, you will be removed from the throne of Edana in your current castle. Currently, Edanas must use the Edana challenge token of the castle to participate in the defense of their throne, and they cannot participate in the defense battle if you do not use the Edana's challenge mark of your own castle. So this is pretty much being changed, that you can either choose to defend or try to move to a different castle. A penalty is now being applied also to those who do not participate in the duel while selected as a participant using the Edana's challenge proof item. If a penalty is applied, you will not be able to participate in the Edana's Throne content for the next 4 times. That is a total of 1 month being blocked out. The penalty applies to both the 10 challenger match and the final challenger match versus the Edana. However, if you're currently in Edana, and the non-participation penalty will not be applied. So pretty much if you do not, if you're a no-show as an Edana, it's not a problem. But if you are a challenger, it will definitely give you the penalty. When no adventurer participates in the final challenger versus Edana showdown, the conditions for selecting the Edana have also been adjusted. In this case, that the final challenger becomes Edana and takes the throne of that castle. And if no one participated in the 10 challenger competition, and there is no final challenger, the Edana seat will become vacant, which is actually a big change. They've also added the ability to open the Edana's Throne UI from the escape menu in the War tab. And from there, you can check information for each castle by clicking on the flag of each castle in the upper left corner of the UI, and the Edana's Throne area you applied for will be marked with a check mark. Now challengers who have applied for the throne can update their attack and defense power through the corresponding UI button without having to go to the Edania region in person. The world map has also been improved to allow you to view the accumulated taxes from the previous week. This is definitely a nice change, considering, showing the accumulated taxes is displayed based on the period of time from immediately after the Edana selection in the previous week to immediately before of the current. So effectively, you can kind of gauge on what kind of profits are being put out by being the Edana. This will, I think, mix it up or make it more viable for some people to consider going for a certain Edana position, even if they are stronger beyond that Edana. As before, you can check real-time tax status for the Edana as well. The NPC shop selling price for the Edana Challenge token has been set to 30 million silver, so if you do not wish to participate, you can just sell the item. The sale of the Edana Challenge token must be done within the 24-hour validity period, and pretty much with the phrase being added, it cannot be sold after the expiration date. So if you do not wish to participate in the fight, just go to the nearest NPC and immediately sell it. The description of the Adonis throne has also been enhanced or changed that appears when you press the arrow button to the Adonis throne UI, and the button itself for the UI has been modified to display an effect when the Adana applies for the throne of another castle and becomes the challenger or final challenger. Then we have some item changes, so the display of where you can obtain the Lifeskill relics has been improved to be more detailed. Overall, we have some description changes effectively on all the Lifeskill relics, going all the way from processing, cooking, experience, proficiency, pretty much telling you where you can get these items. So some highlights, for example, are a chance to obtain collectibles obtained through gathering, life skills in general, all life activities, cooking skill as a reward for delivering cooking boxes. So effectively, if you've been wondering how to get a certain life skill, well, artifact, this will be able to tell you now in more detail on where to get it. Overall, a nice little change. It's nice to know what you need to do. Also, since the basic gathering tool effect of gathering time minus 8 seconds is still applied even when gathering without a gathering tool, the description of gathering tool items regarding the reduced gathering time has also been improved. It used to say 11 seconds, effectively now it will say minus 3 seconds due to the standardized minus 8. Then we have a big change for the Barterers coming. The trade items for the level 1 trade goods are being updated again, effectively due to some price changes and availability. The trade goods that will be added to the barters are included, again, the cactus thorns, the skin, coconuts, top quality bear skin, premium tough leather, premium thick fur, mossy plywood, thorn tree plywood, tiger meat, and bark of an old tree, or old tree bark. However, the following items were most likely being, removed. I need to guess some of these. So obviously we have the Tef flower dough, fortune-telling mushroom, green crystal ore, obsidian ore, actually, muddy water bags, rhinoceros meat, no idea what maybe it's supposed to be, the purple crystals, silkworm cocoon, potato flower dough, barley flower dough, rice flower dough, cornmeal dough, a llama leather, transparent crystal ore, blue crystal ore, coal, and tin. In accordance with all of these changes, the Mysterious Barter support box will also be adjusted again. So if you still have some of these, definitely just open them to get rid of them or put the stuff on market now before these changes go through. You might still be able to sell them. The contents, like it says, from before the change will not change, so overall you want to open them, otherwise they will start clogging your inventory. Then we have some Edania hunting ground changes, so the probability of loot is being adjusted. So for Orbita, all the monsters, the drop rate for the Deboreka ring has roughly been doubled. Monsters other than Titans, the drop rate of the true destruction crystal or the destruction crystals has been increased by 1.25 times. Then for Tenebrown, all monsters, the drop rate of the Deboreka ring has also been increased by 3.33 times, so quite a big increase there. For the earrings by 1.67, and the destruction crystals by 1.1 times. For Zephyros, we have a bit more nuance, so effectively all monsters have the destruction crystals being increased by 1.2 times. Beelzebub has some changes for the Deboreka ring being increased by 5.5, that is quite a big one. The drop rate of the earrings has been increased by 2.78, and then for the Thieves, Metas, Shadow Knight, and Priest, the drop rate of the Deboreka ring has increased by 5 times, and the earrings by 2.5. Also, the frequency with which Beelzebub, the monster of Zephyros, performs a jump attack has also been reduced. A big thing for the treasure hunters, Alan Serban's landscapes, the acquisition probability for the paint has been increased. So effectively, across all spots, it's been increased. For Road Sulfur, 1.45 times. For the Dekia, 1.15. Pilaku 1.45 and 1.15 for Dekia. Akman 1.4. with 1.15 on the Dekia Atman, Histria 1.35 with 1.2 on the Dekia Histria, Sakraya Upper 1.14 times, Sakraya Abyssal 1.3, Panics by 1.2, Ash by 1.3, Ash Dekia by 1.2, so less increase on the Dekia here again. Ash Dekia 2 by 1.35 times, so that one's being pushed up significantly. Crypto Wrestling Thought has been increased by 4 times. That is quite an increase for such an easy to get ring piece. Olin Valley by 1.1. Dekia 1 Olins 1.15. Dekia 2 by 1.2. City of the Dead by 1.15. Tongrad by 1.2. And finally, Darkseeker's Retreat by 1.4. Then also we have the Bamboo Legion 8, 9, 10 Calamity. There's some changes when leaving the combat area. The Bamboo Legion commander will now display a message indicating that the battle will resume. Also, it has been improved so that in certain situations, its health no longer resets and it returns to the center of the battlefield. And the combat range of the spearmen, archers, and swordsmen at their spawn points has been increased by 7.5% compared to before, allowing them to pursue enemies further. Then we have a small change. The Perugia, the Tigris Island trade manager, has recently moved now to the opposite side of the island due to the influx of fishermen on the island. So finally, you can go barter in peace again without all those fishermen standing there. And Black Shrine as well. The cutscene when entering the Dongay Island personal or solo has also been reduced. I'm pretty sure this is... No, that can't be Sangoon. Donghae Island. Well, we'll see it next week. I'm not quite sure which one this is supposed to be. When summoning in a horse, camel, or donkey, or baby elephant, the distance at which the mount teleports has been reduced by 20% as well. Vehicles now teleport at closer distances than before. Then we have some small UI changes for the unified presets again. The lock button has been modified to not be exposed. For example, if only 5 pet preset slots are open, only 5 will be displayed. So it won't show you the excess. A portrait has also been added to the left area to show your current class, and an icon indicating a type of preset has been added to the left of each preset title to make it a bit more identifiable, not just by text. Then we have fixes and changes. In general, there was some awkward appearance on the Aspera armor. The issue where the primal fragment was not obtained in the bag after clicking the receive reward after completing Orbula region conquest has been fixed. An issue where the description of the appearance items worn by your maid would be displayed as description of regular items when your maid moved away from the adventurer apparently has been fixed. An issue where byproducts could be obtained intermittently when repeating an alchemy that failed due to insufficient proficiency has been fixed. So some people had a bug there. Or exploit. They fixed an issue where the skill list would constantly scroll to the top when checking the list of connected horses while riding a carriage. They've also improved the use of the cave pass when automatically moving outside Loraro Island Bay. The issue where the eyes of Rosalka, summoned by the Nymphomare weekly boss fight, would occasionally look in an awkward direction has been improved. An issue where the combined acquisition probability was not activated when hovering the mouse over the total acquisition. At the bottom right of the Horth Growth UI has also been fixed for pretty much pad. The issue where moving around the Owido commandery, T would get stuck on the door and not move smoothly. I'm hoping this is in Seoul, the one gateway towards the north. Quest-wise, they fixed an issue where some of the quests in the repeated quest list were displayed differently from their actual quest names. Then they fixed an issue where Karshian's texture would be displayed when hovering the mouse over Zephyros' throne in the chat window. The issue where the text displayed in the chat window was awkward when Edana used the Challenger's mark on their own castle has been fixed. An issue where the crafting materials for Dragon Tears in the following quest was incorrectly listed as 10 magical fragments instead of 4 has been corrected, pretty much for a lot of mana items. During the Blue Light of Youth dialogue with Arenda has been changed from Blue Crystal to Blue Crystal Ore. A typo in the quest Balenos How to Become Stronger has been corrected. An issue with a knowledge Sun's Revenge 2 could not be obtained after obtaining Sun's Revenge 1 during the conversation with Abu Eliza's diary has been fixed. An issue where the Edana's challenge proof item would be displayed as instead of the correct guidance when you were using it after it had already been used has been fixed. Oh, that is quite a mouthful. They fixed an issue where the enhancement UI would be hidden when hit if the hide UI on hit was turned on. The text position of the increased current, probability section of the extract UI has been corrected. An issue where the ability display settings buttons on the hunting ground information did not work has been fixed. The issue with the number of materials held in workshops, all workshops including tool and furniture workshops, has been abbreviated. That have been being abbreviated has been fixed. An issue with the step-by-step description for the detailed purpose of accommodations on the world map being abbreviated has been fixed, so more text fixes. Definitely nice to see them being more on the ball on these. An issue where the phrase avoid the descending notes was abbreviated in the minigames that occurs when using the flute. The issue with the text that appears when failing a horse skill was abbreviated has been fixed. Hunting ground information was not updated when selecting the name area, also being abbreviated. Issue with the title and arrival status of the transport tab were with ellipses, there's a fix. Issue where also writing a long note, the abbreviated contents were displayed when the mouse was hovering. Oh god. Then we have some pad mode fixes in general again, so expiration date was not displayed when checking the item tooltip in the cell repurchase window. Fixed an issue with selecting a skill was impossible when the skill description text was too long. Visiting a house, the phenomenon of description text on the top owner list being abbreviated is being fixed on that. Fixed an issue where key guide was abbreviated in the dream screen. Key guide for Arsha's Spear Adventure Management window. Work speed value on the world map workshop being abbreviated in pad mode. Fix on the max durability repair UI being abbreviated. Bottom key guide for conversation group being abbreviated on pad. Retraining some management menu on the ring menu. The selection key for other adventures has been changed from left trigger to right trigger. That is a big change for gamepad. Fix an issue with a long text above the Y button would be abbreviated. An issue with the text in the Edana's key guide was incorrect, and more text fixes. And finally, they fixed an issue with the skill acquisition probability snapping was unnatural in the with growth information UI. With that, we're going into TLDR. UI preset, great to just see your class to figure out which one you're on in case you got a lower resolution. Tinberra, the Barterer being moved, finally. It is so annoying with all those boats there. Paint increase chances. I do hope that more people get their paints now. Debo increases. A bit surprised they're pushing them up this much, but then again, 0 times 5.5 is still 0. Joking aside, I do hope this won't affect the prices too much because they've actually been recovering. Tier 1 trade items being changed. Great. I mean, some of them have been hard to get, but at the same time, it's always a pain in the ass with the new chests. Lifeskill artifacts, great to finally know exactly where to get them if you're trying to round them out. With the Edana challenges, I am a little bit worried about really strong players that normally should be going for Sephiroth or Karshan, going for the lower castles instead, effectively erasing the opportunity for those people. But we're going to have to see how that balances out. And then finally, the fishing chair changes. I won't be removing the video, but I will definitely be adding a note. If you want to, you can actually check it out, but it's not like it's going to stay relevant. So don't worry too much about it. And with that, we're done. I wish you the absolute best of luck in video, and I will hopefully see you around.